Sherman D. Manning, Sherman D. Manning, Sherman D. Manning. Tune him back in. Listen, if you happen to see Donald Trump, and I messed up just then because I don't dignify him by calling his last name. I just call him Donald. If you happen to see Donald, tell him. And so we're back. We're back. I want to talk again about where we left off. And so the bottom line deal is when it comes to prisons, and I keep trying to communicate this in every way that I can, on every platform that I can. When it comes to prisons, we have to become more concerned about what goes on in prisons. And we have to be selfish about it. Because the bottom line is more than 65,000 people will be released from prison this month across this country. And what are you going to do if they come live in your neighborhood? And they're coming. They're coming. They have to live somewhere. There used to be a time in this country when our judicial system exercised with some pragmatism and with a little bit of compassion. I can remember when you could be serving a prison sentence, and if your mother died, they would actually take you to the funeral. That's not soft on crime, ladies and gentlemen. That's being humane. And we can argue all day long about, well, he wasn't humane to his victims and all of that other great stuff. But what if he molested his victim? Is the government going to molest the victim because he did so also? That's foolish. That's an asinine argument. It doesn't even make any sense. What I'm trying to communicate is that if we continue to be so hardcore about the way we treat people who have been separated from their families, who are doing time in prisons, what we do is we harden them. We make them harder, tougher, sicker, and slicker. And when they get out of prison, they return quicker. Everybody listen to me. Think about your mom for a moment. How much you love your mother. Lord have mercy. I love Dolly Mae Manning. I do. I love her dearly. I love Brenda Smith also. But I love Dolly Mae Manning. I love her so much. With everything inside me, I love her. And think about your mom. The last time you saw her, the last time you talked to her. Think about all the stuff that your mother has done for you. And now you're serving a 7-year sentence in prison for income tax evasion, or for burglary, or for robbery, whatever the crime may have been. You're serving 7 years. And now you're on the 4th year of that 7-year sentence. And that mother you love so much died. She died. She died. And you're saying to yourself, okay, now I only have 3 more years left in prison. The woman who brought me into the world, would you want to attend her funeral? And when some cold, calculating prison official tells you, basically, oh well, we don't do that. Think about what it does to your psyche. Think about what it does to your mind. And what I'm trying to get you to understand, what I'm trying to get the American people to understand, is that this has happened to thousands of men and thousands of women in prisons across this country who have lost the closest person to them in their life. And the prison system has not even winked. There's been no concern. There's been no compassion. There's been nothing. And these guys and these gals get out of prison. Let me tell you something. I talk about wrongful convictions. I know they exist. I know it is a problem and it's major. And we need to do something about it. And I know that there's some good guys locked in prisons also. But on the flip side of it, there are some guys that I met in prison. Were I to see them right now, I would run the other way, literally. Were I to see them right now, I would call 911. So there are some guys who should never get out. I get that. But this is actually, to be quite frank with you, in the minority. In the minority. Perhaps 15 to 20% of America's 2.7 million prisoners should never see the light of day again. But even they should be treated with humanity. Even they should be treated with courtesy and respect. When you start denying them the right to mourn properly, to grieve properly, here's what happens. Even if they don't get out, the guys who work in there, they get the brunt of the anger, of the pain, of the hurt and the sorrow. And so when you see guys start sticking and stabbing correctional officers and counselors and nurses and things of that nature, there's a reason that led up to that. Is there justification for it? Of course not. There's never justification for crime. There's never justification for violence. I don't support it. I'm opposed to it. It is wrong. But I am saying to you, there is a reason people snap. There's a reason people go off. I went through some things. Thank you, Jesus. And keep in mind, whether you believe in my innocence or not is irrelevant. But just for the sake of this argument, believe this one thing about me, if you believe nothing else. And that is, I believe in God. And I love God with all of my heart. I love him. He's been good to me. And so even as a person who is a believer in God, even as a person who believes that you reap what you sow and all that other good stuff, I found myself at a couple of times almost snapping, wanting to attack someone who was a guard or a counselor because of the way they treated me, because of the way they said, get over it, do this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter. You're nobody. You're nothing. Sherman D. Manning, I'm going to sign off on that. Get the truth about O.J. Simpson, race, class, money, and justice. I got to go for now. Sign back on later. I got a question for you. Someone in Atlanta sent me an overnight letter yesterday